What's up, champions? Mr. Alpha here. Today, I'm going to reveal something powerful that most people will never understand in their entire lives. I'm talking about how to make your subconscious mind, that hidden 95% of your mental power, work for you instead of against you. And the best part? You won't need hours of meditation or any complex spiritual practices. These are practical, actionable techniques you can start using today to reprogram your mind for success, confidence, and unstoppable drive. Before we dive in, know this: your subconscious mind is like an obedient servant. It doesn't judge, it doesn't question, it simply follows orders. The problem is, most people never learn how to give those orders effectively. That changes today. Let's get started. The power of your subconscious. Your conscious mind is what you're aware of right now, your thoughts, decisions, and focus. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath that is your subconscious, a massive processing system that controls your habits, beliefs, automatic reactions, and even your physiology. Here's what makes it so powerful: your subconscious processes about 11 million bits of information per second, while your conscious mind handles only about 40 bits. It stores every experience you've ever had, even ones you don't consciously remember. It runs your automatic programs, everything from how you breathe to how you react when rejected. It doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. It works 24/7, even when you're sleeping. Most people let their subconscious run on autopilot with programming they received as children. But alpha individuals take control of this immense power. Let's see how you can do that too. Technique number 1, pattern interruption. The first technique is called pattern interruption, and it's your key to breaking negative subconscious loops. Here's how it works: your brain creates neural pathways, like highways for your thoughts. When you repeatedly think or do something, that pathway gets stronger. This is how habits form. But here's the problem: many of your strongest pathways are negative ones. Pathways of self-doubt, fear, and limitation. To reprogram your subconscious, you need to interrupt these patterns before they take over. Let me show you how. First, become aware of your negative thought patterns. Maybe you always think, "I'm not good enough when facing a challenge," or "I always mess this up before important tasks." The moment you catch this negative loop starting, physically do something unexpected. Snap your fingers hard, pinch your arm, or stand up suddenly if appropriate. This physical action breaks the pattern before it gains momentum. Then immediately replace it with a predetermined positive statement. Not just any positive statement, but one that directly contradicts your negative loop. For example, if your negative loop is "I always fail at this," your replacement might be "I improve with every attempt." Here's the crucial part most people miss: you must deliver this statement with intensity. Speak it with conviction, either out loud or in your mind with strong emotion. Let me give you a real example. Say you're about to approach someone attractive, and your subconscious starts the "I'll probably get rejected" loop. The moment you notice this, snap your fingers sharply or clench your fist. State forcefully in your mind, "I bring value to every interaction." Feel the truth of that statement as you approach. Do this consistently, and you'll literally rewire your brain. That negative pathway weakens while your new, empowering pathway strengthens. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic neural reprogramming. Your subconscious responds to intensity and repetition. Technique number 2, future self-dialogue. The second technique is something I personally use every day: future self-dialogue. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's happening now and what you vividly imagine. We can use this to our advantage. Here's how: set aside 5 minutes each morning. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and imagine meeting your future self, the version of you who has already achieved what you're striving for. Now, don't just vaguely picture this. Create specific details. How do they stand? How do they speak? What energy do they radiate? What advice would they give you? Then, engage in an actual dialogue. Ask questions and let your future self answer. Questions like, what one habit did you develop that made the biggest difference? How did you overcome the challenge I'm facing now? What am I currently focusing on that isn't important? The answers may surprise you. They'll come from a deeper part of your mind that already knows what you need to do. Write down these insights immediately afterward. Here's why this works. By vividly imagining this conversation, you're creating a template for your subconscious to follow. You're giving it clear instructions on who you want to become. Your subconscious will then start noticing opportunities and solutions that align with this future version of yourself, things you would have missed before. I've seen this transform people's decision-making overnight. When faced with choices, they find themselves naturally asking, what would my future self do? This isn't fantasy, it's strategic mental programming that leverages how your brain actually works. Technique number 3, identity shifting. The third technique is perhaps the most powerful, identity shifting. Here's a truth most motivational speakers won't tell you: behavior change is hard. Willpower fails. But identity change? That's sustainable. When something becomes part of your identity, you don't need willpower to do it. It's just who you are. This technique bypasses the typical try harder approach and goes straight to your subconscious self-image. Here's how to implement it. First, identify who you need to become to achieve your goals. Not what you need to do, but who you need to be. Want to build a successful business? You need to become someone who thinks like an entrepreneur, even before you have the results. Want a transformed physique? You need to become someone who identifies as an athlete, not someone who's trying to get in shape. Next, create a clear description of this identity. Be specific. Write it down. For example, I am the kind of person who thinks strategically about business opportunities. I see possibilities others miss. I take calculated risks. I learn from setbacks rather than being discouraged by them. Now, the implementation part that most people miss. Every morning, read this identity statement aloud with conviction. But don't stop there. Throughout the day, ask yourself, what would someone with this identity do in this situation? When facing a decision, large or small, filter it through this new identity. Here's where it gets interesting: you must also find evidence that you already possess aspects of this identity. Your subconscious needs proof. Keep a daily journal where you record even small examples of when you acted in alignment with your new identity. These become reference points for your subconscious. For example, today I identified a problem with our project before anyone else noticed. This shows my growing strategic thinking. Over time, your subconscious accepts this new identity as reality, and your automatic behaviors shift to match it. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is strategic identity engineering based on how your brain naturally forms self-image. Technique number 4, strategic environment design. The fourth technique is strategic environment design. Your subconscious is constantly absorbing cues from your environment, which then shape your automatic behaviors and thoughts. Most people severely underestimate how much their environment influences their subconscious programming. They struggle with willpower when they should be redesigning their surroundings. Here's how to implement this technique. First, identify the behaviors and thought patterns you want to develop. Let's say you want to become more focused and productive. Now, analyze your current environment for cues that may be programming the opposite. This includes physical environment, clutter, distractions, visual cues, digital environment, notifications, easy access to time-wasting sites, social environment, people who drain your energy or reinforce old patterns, information environment, what content you consume daily. Next, systematically redesign these environments to send signals to your subconscious about who you're becoming. For your physical space, remove all visual clutter from your workspace. Place objects that symbolize productivity and focus in your line of sight. Create dedicated spaces for different activities. For your digital environment, delete social media apps from your phone, accessing them only via browser if needed. Set up website blockers during focus periods. Customize your screens with images representing your goals. For your social environment, schedule regular interactions with people who embody qualities you want to develop. Reduce exposure to those who reinforce old patterns. Join groups centered around your desired identity. For your information environment, curate your content consumption to support your new identity. Listen to specific audiobooks or podcasts during commutes or exercise. Create a morning reading ritual with material that programs your mind for the day. Here's the key insight: your subconscious responds to these environmental cues automatically, without you having to consciously think about them. By designing your environment strategically, you're essentially setting up a system that continuously programs your subconscious throughout the day. This reduces the need for willpower and makes your desired behaviors the path of least resistance. I've seen people transform completely by implementing this one technique alone. Their environments were working against them before, but now every aspect of their surroundings reinforces who they're becoming. Technique number 5, precision language patterning. The fifth technique is something most people completely overlook: precision language patterning. The words you use, both when speaking to others and in your internal dialogue, are direct commands to your subconscious mind. Most people sabotage themselves daily with imprecise, weak language patterns. Their subconscious simply follows these commands, creating self-fulfilling prophecies. Here's how to implement precision language patterning. First, eliminate these phrases from your vocabulary completely. I'll try to. I hope I can. I should. Maybe I'll. I'm not sure if I can. These phrases program hesitation and give your subconscious permission to fail. Replace them with, I will. I am going to. I choose to. I am committed to. I am capable of. But that's just the beginning. Now you need to eliminate qualifiers that weaken your commands. Instead of I'm getting better at public speaking, say I am a confident, impactful speaker. Instead of I'm working on my fitness, say I am disciplined and athletic. Next, completely remove the phrase I am from negative statements. Your subconscious takes I am statements as core identity commands. Never say, I am stressed, I am overwhelmed, I am broke, I am bad at math. Instead, use temporary language. I feel stress right now, I'm experiencing a sense of being overwhelmed, my current financial situation is temporary, I'm still developing my mathematical skills. The difference seems subtle, but the impact on your subconscious programming is enormous. Now, here's the implementation strategy. For 1 week, become hyper-aware of your language patterns. Note every time you use weak or negative phrasing. Create specific replacement phrases and practice them daily. Set up accountability. Ask friends or colleagues to call you out when they hear self-sabotaging language. Script your internal dialogue for challenging situations in advance. For example, before a negotiation, don't just hope you'll stay confident. Actually write out and practice the precise language you'll use in your internal dialogue. I am thoroughly prepared. I create value through this negotiation. I communicate with clarity and confidence. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about giving clear, unambiguous commands to your subconscious mind. Your brain is constantly seeking evidence to support your statements. When you use precise, empowering language, you program your subconscious to notice opportunities and resources you would otherwise miss. Technique number 6, strategic question framing. The sixth technique is strategic question framing. The questions you ask yourself determine the focus of your subconscious mind. Most people ask themselves disempowering questions that lead their subconscious to find problems rather than solutions. When something goes wrong, average people ask, "Why does this always happen to me? What's wrong with me? Who can I blame for this?" These questions direct your subconscious to find evidence that reinforces negativity and victimhood. Here's how to implement strategic question framing. First, become aware of your automatic questions. What do you immediately ask yourself when facing challenges? Write these down. Now, create replacement questions that direct your subconscious toward solutions and growth. Instead of "Why can't I get this right?" ask "How can I improve my approach next time?" Instead of "Why am I so unmotivated?" ask "What would make this task more engaging for me?" Instead of "Why don't people appreciate me?" ask "How can I communicate my value more effectively?" The key is to pre-script these questions and practice them until they become automatic. Here's a powerful morning routine using this technique. Each morning, ask yourself these specific questions. What am I genuinely excited about today? What opportunities might appear today that I don't want to miss? How can I add exceptional value to others today? What strength of mine will I fully express today? Your subconscious will work tirelessly to answer these questions throughout the day. For challenges, develop a specific questioning protocol. What's the opportunity hidden in this challenge? What skills am I developing by facing this? How will overcoming this serve my long-term vision? What resources do I already have that can help me solve this? The phrasing of these questions is critical. They must presuppose that there are opportunities you will overcome the challenge. You already have resources. Your subconscious accepts these presuppositions and works within that framework. I've seen people transform decades-long patterns of negative thinking within weeks by consistently applying this technique. Remember, the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of questions you habitually ask yourself. Technique number 7. Physiological state anchoring. The seventh and final technique is physiological state anchoring. Your physical state and your mental state are inseparable. By controlling your physiology, you can instantly access empowering mental states and reprogram your subconscious responses. Here's how to implement this technique. First, identify 3 to 5 emotional states that would most serve your goals. Examples might include unstoppable confidence, laser focus, creative flow, calm, determination, boundless energy. For each state, you'll create a specific physiological anchor, a unique combination of physical movements that you can use to trigger that state on demand. Here's the process for creating each anchor. Remember a time when you felt that state intensely. If you can't recall a personal experience, vividly imagine how it would feel. As you fully experience the state, create a unique physical gesture, something you wouldn't normally do. For example, for confidence, stand tall, shoulders back, make a specific fist gesture while taking a deep breath. For focus, touch your thumb to your middle finger, straighten your posture, and narrow your gaze. For creativity, lightly tap your temple 3 times while visualizing a light bulb turning on. Practice intensifying the emotional state while performing the gesture. Do this at least 5 times when you're already naturally feeling that state. Once established, you can trigger the state by performing the physical anchor. Now, here's how to strategically apply these anchors. Identify situations where you typically experience negative or unresourceful states. For each situation, decide which empowering state would serve you better. Create a specific plan for when you'll use each anchor. For example, before important meetings, use your confidence anchor when starting complex tasks. Use your focus anchor when feeling overwhelmed. Use your calm determination anchor. The key to making this work is consistent practice. Use your anchors multiple times daily until they become automatic. Here's a powerful enhancement. Create a morning state-setting ritual where you cycle through all your anchors, experiencing each state intensely for 30 to 60 seconds. This technique works because your subconscious mind associates physical patterns with emotional states. By deliberately creating these associations, you gain control over your automatic responses. Many elite performers use this exact method to instantly access peak states before competitions or high-stakes situations. Putting it all together, now that you understand these 7 techniques, let's talk about implementation. The biggest mistake people make is trying to use all these techniques at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm and inconsistency. Instead, follow this strategic implementation plan. Week 1, focus only on pattern interruption. Become hyper-aware of your negative thought patterns and practice interrupting them. Week 2, continue with pattern interruption and add future self-dialogue each morning. Week 3, maintain the first 2 practices and begin implementing identity shifting. Write your identity statement and review it daily. Week 4, add strategic environment design. Make one change to each environment type: physical, digital, social, informational. Week 5, incorporate precision language patterning. Focus first on eliminating weak phrases and negative I am statements. Week 6, add strategic question framing. Start with the morning questions and develop your challenge response protocol. Week 7, finally, develop your physiological state anchors and practice them throughout the day. By the end of these 7 weeks, you'll have completely transformed how your subconscious operates. Remember, consistency trumps intensity. A small action taken daily will reprogram your subconscious more effectively than occasional massive efforts. Track your progress. Keep a daily journal noting which techniques you used, situations where you noticed a change in your automatic responses, any insights or breakthroughs you experienced, conclusion: you now possess something few people will ever have: a systematic approach to reprogramming your subconscious mind without meditation or complicated spiritual practices. These techniques are based on how your brain actually works, not on wishful thinking or pseudoscience. What separates those who achieve greatness from those who live in mediocrity isn't talent or luck. It's understanding and applying the principles we've covered today. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It's been running on automatic programming until now. Today, you take control. This isn't about fighting against your mind. It's about aligning your conscious intentions with your subconscious programming so they work together seamlessly. Implement these techniques with consistency, and within 60 days, you'll experience a transformation that most people would consider impossible. Remember, your subconscious mind is always listening. What instructions are you giving it? That's it for today, champions. If you found value in this video, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss my next video on advanced mind mastery techniques. This is Mr. Alpha, and I'll see you in the next one. Before you go, comment below with which of these 7 techniques you're going to implement first, and why. I read every comment and respond to as many as I can. And remember, your mind is either working for you or against you. There is no neutral. Take control today. Stay Alpha.